Hey, YouTube! Scarpad from Scarpad's Domain with another sci-fi trip for you that sojourns out into outer space and time and a lot of dimensions. And tonight, we're looking at Stanley Kubrick's 1971 classic, A Clockwork Orange. Now, this is a disturbing movie, obviously, for several reasons we'll be going into. Stars Malcolm McDowell and the whole cast of people you probably have never even seen or heard before, but Malcolm McDowell is the guy that really makes this movie as both the antagonist and protagonist in some sort of dystopian future, maybe, we don't know, city. We think it's Britain, but where gangs rule the street and laws and order and all that type of stuff is flown out the window and rival gangs fight and basically do whatever the fuck they want. And Malcolm McDowell shines as Alex. I think his name was Dregman. I keep on forgetting his last name, but Alex. And we're going to be talking about this movie with our usual host of people. And, of course, we can't do anything without Dylan from Dylan's Horror Show. Dylan, how you doing tonight?
What up, brother? Good to see you, man. Sorry I was late.
Man. Hey, the room is looking better and better every time I see it, man. Look at those posters.
Dude, thank you as always, man.
Take it over.
I'm already out of freaking frames, man. I got to get another six-pack, bro.
Don't get framed, man.
Never, bro.
Frames.
Never. I always got to stay the frame, bro. I think it's Alex DeLarge, too.
DeLarge. Yeah,
DeLarge.
DeLarge, man, because he's DeLarge.
Yeah.
He's got that DeLarge. Well, we'll go into that.
Yeah.
And, of course, another gentleman joining us today, Steph, who tells me he saw this movie when he was 19. It left an indelible mark on his soul, and he brought back tonight to talk about it with us. How you doing, Steph?
Absolutely. Great. I'm happy to be here talking about this classic with you guys. This is I like this because this encourages me to watch more movies that I've always said, I'm going to check that out. I'm going to check that out for whatever reason, or go back and watch. And for whatever reason, I just don't get around to it. Like this.
Yeah, I haven't seen this movie in a while, and then I picked up the 4K Steelbook here, which is awesome.
Oh, nice. It's gorgeous, bro.
It looks really good in 4K. Let me tell you that. Dylan,
have you seen this movie? 4K, but it could have been better.
Have you seen this movie before?
Yeah. Oh, I've seen this quite a few times.
Okay.
My uncle showed me this one when I was pretty young too, bro.
Okay. That's when,
Even
back when the gang
man, he's got good taste in movies though, so he showed me a lot of good shit. Like he showed me The Shining, showed me this.
Well, this movie came out right after 2001. Stanley Kubrick directed that, of course. And for 1971, it's pretty disturbing, the content. Let's say that it's some rough stuff to get through. A lot of rape scenes in this movie. And a lot of like off the wall stuff too. But I mean, it's the vision that's painted by Kubrick in this movie. This is based off a novel. I have not read the book, so I don't know how faithful this is to the book. But of course, he creates a world where these gangs are just doing whatever they want, and then of course, an accidental death gets this guy incarcerated, and he probably should have just been locked up. But of course, that doesn't happen. They want to experiment on a new treatment that they want to put these people back in society by basically using mind control and making them succumb to their will. And this movie has a great use of music in it, like most Kubrick movies after 2001. This also is very heavy in classical and all sorts of other music. Really, really good. I love the music in this. And of course, the music plays a pivotal scene because it's the music that Alex loses by going through mind control and then regains in the end when he comes out of it. And, not being able to hear the piece of music, the Beethoven music that he really loves, is the only thing he regrets in the whole movie. He doesn't regret when he comes back after the treatment, when he's normalized, and he doesn't regret killing all these people.
All the choices,
or what he's done to his parents, his choices. He regrets that he can't listen to that piece of music without being sick, or not being sick without being able to do whatever the things he wants to do. And of course, we get that little sequence where he gets out, and then he gets a little comeuppance from the people
from almost everybody.
Amazingly enough, we see the cops know better because now the former gang members are the cops, and then because of the actions of one of his victims, in the end he's back to what he was. And we also see the whole corruption of government, because the government wasn't interested in doing this. They just wanted something that would be popular to get them in office and get the people to be behind them. And then we see the corruption at the end, that even though Alex is back to his old form, now he's got allies in the government, and the whole thing was really, sanctioned by them by not doing anything in the first place. So,
right.
I guess we'll go to Steph. First, we'll go to impressions on the story, and just the overall story. We'll go.
The story is it's like it's very deep. It's a very sci-fi movie, but when you think of sci-fi, I always tend to think of like some otherworldly, futuristic, not like this something like this could happen.
Yeah, this is more of a dystopian type future.
Yeah. But I enjoyed it. I think it did everything it was trying to do in a way, because like we were discussing this earlier, like he is the protagonist and antagonist, like, but we end up feeling sympathy for this guy to a degree, like, and I think that's because like humans are kind of, mankind's capable of that. Like everyone is capable of something heinous to a degree. And, I feel like that's maybe like my subconscious, why I was feeling sorry for him, was like, part of me is like, man, I would want some form of redemption or a second chance too, if that, but we'll get into that. But he was kind of forced into redemption. I'm thinking more or less you actually want redemption. But no, it was a great story, great character study. And it went deep. Showed the ramifications of evil. Like evil begets evil. I dug it.
Dylan, not your first time seeing it, obviously you said, but your impressions. What did you like, dislike?
I mean, it's a very, very bizarre movie, man. It was always very hard for me to kind of wrap my head around what the fuck is going on, to be honest. Besides this, you got this gang of dudes just going around doing whatever the hell they want, taking women, beating the hell out of the husband. And that comes back around at the end, as we see. But they just walk around day or night, don't really care. But especially at the night, it's almost kind of like a Warriors thing, where at the night they like come alive and they go out. Dude, it's a great film. I mean, it
feels very theatrical,
Oh, yes. Without a doubt. Yeah. I mean, even with they have like all that symbolism where, when he's reading the Bible and he's kind of like like he's in Roman times and everything.
Yeah.
This movie definitely has a lot of symbolism, and it's very deep, no doubt. It's almost like too deep for me to like just pick it all up. And I've seen it a countless amount of times. That's why, as I was actually really glad you sent that video of kind of what it's trying to say. Because it's a deep one, man. And actually, I wish Robbie could have been here, man, for this, because I'd have really liked to hear him really dive into this one.
I would have given him, this guy has a lot of meat.
I would have just sat back like, oh my God, like I just loving what he would have had to say. I know Scarpad is going to say damn well probably what he would say though too, because I know Scarpad knows his shit as well. But yeah, dude, I like you said earlier, Steph, I've been loving doing this show, man, just because obviously I do the horror every Saturday, but I love all movies, man. So being able to step out, and I'm excited for next week's as well, getting ahead of myself. But dude, I've just been loving this, man, and I think this is a blast of a film. It is definitely one that you're sitting back in awe, like, holy crap, like what the hell is going on?
I'm kind of sorry we couldn't get a woman on the panel, because I'd like to see a woman's opinion of this.
That perspective. I know there's definitely women fans of this.
Yeah, very tough to get to, but I think a true film fan would come along. All right, before we go on, let's say a little chat. We got Two Gun in here. Two Gun, how you doing? And TK is in here tonight. How you doing, TK? Perry?
I know he's loving
Is the
them
steel book
chunky
made out of
posters.
steel? It's made out of aluminum, Perry. Much like my balls. Who else is in there? We got Dylan in the chat.
The steel tiny
chatting
onions.
up. Thanks all guys for coming in here. Yeah, I think this movie it's very interesting because it sets the world that it builds. You know, they have all those. I remember when I saw this when I was about probably 15 or 16, and it made an impression on me. And me and my friends were always going around. First thing we always said, "Oh shit, this is a fucking horror show. What a real horror show this is." You got that right from the movie. I mean, that line is phenomenal. And then we had the line with the old in out. Of course, we used that.
I dug all the British slang and stuff like that. That
the
vernacular
gibbly
was cool.
wobblies, the timey, the toasty woasties, and all that.
I feel like they come up with their own.
Very sing-songy, very nursery rhymey dialogue that gives it that other flavor of like alienness, even though it's grounded in the world.
Because I didn't think of that. I didn't think that this would be a sci-fi because it's been a while since I watched it. So I kind of always thought, I was like, it's kind of like it has more horror aspects just because of how raw it is.
Yeah.
It definitely is a dystopian.
We don't know if it's a future past. We don't know much about it. Then we go into that. But you see everything in the city is very dirty, very grungy. It's a rundown city. His building where he lives is run down.
Yeah.
The cops, they don't really care about anything. They're not stopping any of this.
I mean, look at the mother. It's like 65.
The mother's got purple hair.
Purple
hair. And then I tell you, let's talk about some of the other stuff here. And you can't go much farther without saying this is the movie that put Malcolm McDowell on the map. And he gives a performance in this movie that is just fantastic. I mean, even though the guy's detestable, you can't help but laugh with him when he's going through all the shit he's going through, and all the stuff that they're doing, and later on when he goes back and he's acting like his normal guy, and then his parents invited somebody else to live in his room,
a new son
basically.
I've been more of a son than you ever were.
Yeah.
And they didn't say anything. They just let him sit there and shoot him out and shit.
And then the guy's hanging on to mom is like, what's going on here? And it's really bizarre. But I mean, just his performance on both. We get to see him when he's playing Alex before and after, and it's just phenomenal. And of course, the whole scene is iconic where he's sitting there getting programmed with his eyes wide open there. That's just you've seen that, and that has they've taken that for a lot of movies. A lot of movies have emulated
that madness, that
scene.
Yeah.
But just speak a little bit about Malcolm McDowell, his performance in this movie, and any scenes that stand out to you as really memorable scenes.
I'll go. All right. Man, I feel like Kubrick as a director, though, is like he kind of just every shot he's trying to make like an iconic still image. So it's kind of hard to pick. One that stood out to me that was like, man, he's just real. I love his use of the color palette. Was when the dude maybe not the first victim. I think that was a homeless dude, but when they break into the old dude's house and cripple him and rape his wife.
Yeah.
He met him later on, and this is a scene where the crippled dude realizes that who he is,
and he's living with a bodybuilder for some reason. I don't understand.
That's like since the rape or since
maybe
what
his
happened,
wife died.
That's like his security now.
I guess.
Oh
weird bodybuilding with short.
I got some extra vibes from
that guy.
I figured he found out once Alex starts singing in the tunnel.
Yeah.
That's how he figures out who he is, right? That's what I picked up on, at least. I don't.
Oh yeah.
That's exactly it. Because he started to like.
Who he was? He sang "Singing in the Rain" in the bathtub.
Yeah.
But that particular scene where he's just kind of. They show him like sitting in his chair. He's got this whole like yellow jumpsuit or this orange or tan brown, but he's got like this yellow shawl, just the color usage and like
and his eyebrows and his hair.
Right.
Everything about that guy.
Yeah, it's very eccentric and exaggerated. But it's like the layouts Kubrick uses for like his shots looking down rooms and shit. Like when he's sitting at the dinner table eating the spaghetti, that long, it's just You won't see many rooms like that in real life, but you don't. I think that's why it gives it such an otherworldly vibe.
And McDowell, they drugged him, and McDowell just sold that way. His face goes head first right into the plate of pasta there.
Pick up his hair. But that one scene where the dude's he realizes that McDowell is Alex, and I just stood out to me because the door was so narrow. He like goes up to the door. I'm like, could you even fit your wheelchair through that door? Like, it's very. Maybe they're supposed trying to emulate that, but a lot of the shots had like a very confined, boxed in feeling, like being locked up. It was weird. But
even the bar they went to, the milk bar.
Oh yeah,
was in that same type of space. So you get kind of the idea in this world, space is limited. Maybe there's overcrowding, and everybody's in these small little apartments and small little tiny homes. Of course, in England, that they do tend to have smaller homes and smaller spaces like that.
True in Japan. One more scene, that's the opening scene where they were panning back and you just see him and the gang sitting there, and I love that. It was dope. And the tables they were using with the chicks.
The milk was actually pouring out of the nipple of one of the statues. Did you notice that?
Yeah. I did not.
When he's pouring himself a milk, it's coming out of the nipple.
What is up with the milk bar?
It's a milk bar. I don't know, but he said it's a milk bar where they add things like anisette and booze to it. It's like they're drinking booze and milk. Everybody's drinking milk. I don't know. It's just weird. It's one of these strange, weird things that kind of sets it apart.
I'd say about what you said, Steph, about everything feels so close and confined too. I think like because he's in the prison and he thinks, oh, I'm gonna do this to escape, just to get out. He's like, I'll do whatever, basically. But even then, he's still kind of like
he's trapped
in his own prison. Yeah, he's trapped in another prison in his head too.
Yeah.
So he never truly once he commits that crime, he never truly gets out. But
that was a good one. I like that.
That just made me think of it when you brought it up.
And your favorite scene in the movie, though?
I'd probably say that opening, man. Honestly, like Steph said, man, I just love like it. Just it sets you up for know this is gonna be some otherworldly, very unique world and very unique set designs.
Like
just when
eyeshadow.
And they got the eyeshadow, and then they don't wear the masks long, but those like the masks.
The nose,
those are great.
The cups they were wearing around
you had a cod piece on.
Yeah. I would say that, like, just as a shot, like when they're all standing there, that's like one of the best. But another one, just like kind of like all together would be like when he's got that scene with the guy in the wheelchair. Like that is just, it's just so weird and odd, and you just know, like, it just you get
what's gonna happen to his ass.
Yeah, you're like, well, you don't know what's gonna happen, but you know something bad's gonna happen. These people aren't like necessarily good. They don't care about Alex. It's all for themselves. But then they even say at the one point where the guy, he kind of had his own motives, and he was like, yeah, he was crazy, and he thought you did something.
Well, and I think the government tried to paint him as a radical because they wanted to get on the good side of Alex at that point, and they ended up banishing that guy and getting rid of him
because he wasn't gonna let that shit go with what he did to his wife.
Was that?
Yeah, now
that
once he found out who he was.
Go ahead, Steph.
Was that last scene in the movie, like the very last scene where he's like he hears Beethoven and his eyes start kind of, was that supposed to be like euphoric? That's why they had that flash of him with the girl on top of him.
The vampire. And then they had that scene. Was the vampire part of it when he saw himself with fangs and all that? I think that was that was basically his awakening. I mean, he was back.
Okay.
The fall and everything they did to him in the hospital reversed the whole procedure, and now he's back, and now he's being accepted for who he is. That's the whole thing. Is he's back? He was accepted in the movie when he was doing antisocial stuff, and not accepted in the movie when he was doing socially acceptable stuff.
Yeah, like reading the Bible.
And at the end, I mean, you saw we're going to be friends if you play along and you say, go along with us. And then the guy brings in all the speakers, he brings in the press so he can talk to them. And
immediately.
And he knew, and he knew he was back. Alex is back to being what he was. at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
But I think my favorite scene, not that I'm a fan of rapes, but my favorite scene is that scene where they break in and he's doing the Singing in the Rain routine. We just watched a movie last week with a home invasion. I think this was the granddaddy of all home invasions.
Yeah, I would agree.
And the whole thing where he's singing and they're doing it so well though. Even the choreography during that
home
scene
invasion
was
to a
amazing.
musical.
And he's just kicking the shit out of the guy, and the choreography, he's dancing, and he's raping the wife. It's like that scene just, it's burned in my mind there.
I feel like that's almost what inspired Tim Burton's like Joker kind of raid on the art museum. You know,
someone who is like he relishes
lecture.
in that, yeah.
Or even the new Joker movie where the iconic scene where he's dancing up the stairs.
That they get light from the chaos and the terror.
Very, very, very similar to that.
I think that's what some of the like when they add some of these directors that like Todd Phillips and they're trying to do something where a lot of directors always say they're like to be like all great directors, they always want to do like one musical, like, and they're like, you ever heard people say that?
Right.
I feel like when they add that in, like that's they're great, they're like their one shot, and their chance to kind of do something that they might not normally would do, but they're like, I got it, and Kubrick was just a true visionary. I mean, he just make this scene what it was and turn it into a musical.
Clockwork Orange, The Shining,
even Eyes Wide Shut to an extent.
All this stuff is just
Tom Cruise, man.
Right. And then bring us to the next topic, which is cinematography and music. I mean, I think the music in this movie is just so good that balances so many different types of music, from classical to some contemporary. The song they're playing, the other scene that we didn't mention that is a really good scene, one of my favorite scenes of the movie, and it occurs early on, is the scene where they get in the car and it's clearly on a back screen.
Yeah.
And they're driving.
And they're like driving under the truck.
And they're running everyone off the freaking road. Everybody is just driving like this. And everybody's like mayhem, guys get flipping and burning and all the shit's going down. I think they were playing I forget the song. Was it a rock song? Was it a Stone song? I have to go back and rewatch it.
Yeah.
But they that scene and with the music in that and then they have the whimsical music. I mean, the music and the cinematography in this movie is phenomenal. And he's just coming off of 2001, where the music was phenomenal in that. So talk about that a little bit. How you enjoyed the certain shots and the music stuff.
Yeah, I agree with you. The music was he was very, you could tell he was particular with the songs that he picked. Like, I didn't really think about it till you mentioned it, but the scene where he breaks into the dude's house and cripples him, rapes his wife, but that whole time he's like doing a choreography to the dance, that he's memorized from the song. And I don't know, it was disturbing because he found these delightful songs that not counterbalance, but the contrast, the visceral, savage violence going on in certain scenes. So it's like it almost has the effect of the Beethoven that Alex experienced. That it's like, shit, anytime I hear Singing in the Rain now, I'm going to think of the shit going on in A Clockwork Orange, or something. But I think that was intentional. Kubrick, he like Fable said, he was a true visionary. He's a master of film. I think for me, the highlight, the music is up there. Absolutely. I love the color usage. I think his color palettes and just everything is very subtle, but he knows how to draw attention to certain areas of the scene with the colors he uses. And I wish more directors did that nowadays. Like, color is so important, man, when you're trying to highlight certain emotions or things going on. But that was the standout to me, was the color.
Yeah, I think some of it was just because we were in the mod 70s. I mean, 70s was mod, and you had a lot of those wild colors. But I think you amped that all up. Go ahead, Dan. Your thoughts on the music and the cinematography?
Oh man, the cinematography is my favorite part of one of my absolute favorite parts of the film. It's just even today, man, it feels dystopian and everything. Like there's nothing really like that now. Like Kubrick just had an eye, man, for with he just had an eye with the camera, man. It was so unique. The music though, it's you get the Beethoven, but the score I absolutely I love, man. I think that's incredible. Obviously when you get some of the actual songs in there, that's great too, but I think the score is really utilized perfectly. The cinematography though, man, is just great. Like with all the you get a lot of white colors, man, that just make it kind of pop, that make it feel like you're like in an asylum, like a world, like a kind of like a world asylum with all these crazy fucks, like
and it's very bleak colors too.
Yeah, because they basically say that this whole program has come because they're trying to stop crime. Because I feel like it's just so bad at this point that they're willing to brainwash people to try and fix their freaking world, and that's obviously a big part of the film, but then the government doesn't want that to happen.
No,
What were we gonna say, stuff?
Oh, I was you had me thinking of the Beethoven the scene, because I was thinking of like the white when he's in the straitjacket with getting the eye drops and being forced to watch the stuff. But I think it's funny looking at it now that they were using that Beethoven song. I was looking it up. It's like the Ninth Symphony or something.
Yeah.
And it's supposed to be like a crowning achievement of humankind in terms of like progress and how far we had come and what we were capable of. And I find it funny that they were using that scene during the experimentation scene, almost symbolically saying, look how far we've come. This is they thought this was like how advanced they were. This is where was their crowning achievement that was going to change everything. I just think that was funny. They used that song.
Meanwhile, they're showing up against scenes of the Holocaust and stuff like that, which is mankind's worst moment.
Worst, exactly.
So the whole balance was there. I mean, he called it ultra-violence. That's what you heard, the whole thing, ultra-violence.
Yeah.
So ultra-violence was something that was going on, I think, in that whole area. But I think it's just because, not just because of that, I think it was just apathy. I mean, we saw what happened to his two brothers there when they turned into cops. Nothing changed. In fact, they were doing the same
thing.
Worse. Same thing, just with a badge on.
They just had the badge now. So, and I think that's almost what Kubrick was trying to say, is there's not a lot of difference a lot of times between authority and non-authority, that sometimes they do the same thing.
Everyone's got the capacity.
That happens in this world.
Exactly. He was saying he was basically that. That was back in the 70s. I mean, that was back in the 70s, of course, coming off the war and stuff like that, the protesting that was going on back then. And we're seeing at the end, it's validated when we see that the very people that were doing this whole thing were the people that now we're turning around saying, hey, it's okay that you're this antisocial monster, but our agenda and do what we want. We're gonna give you whatever you want. So that just kind of showed them up for
nefarious purposes.
No one in this movie had a positive agenda. Not one person.
Everything was cold.
And you saw it in the prison too. Even the prison priest, who was a little, iffy there. He was suspect.
Yeah,
they all were suspect. Every single one of them. So there wasn't really a positive person in this whole movie. Except maybe the victims.
Those two buddies that turned cops, they were the ones that like set Alex up, man. They wanted to kind of rule the gang, and Alex,
right, exactly.
This is my fucking gang,
And then they become police officers and still fuck them up.
They talk like politicians, basically.
Right, exactly.
Video, the guy said, man, it's just wild, man.
No, hell yeah.
They became cops, but it makes perfect sense. Makes perfect sense.
But as I said before, I think this whole movie hinged on Malcolm McDowell. Without his performance, I just don't think I don't see how the movie could be pulled off, because it all revolved around him, and he was just so good at doing both aspects of kind of like real black comedy and real antagonistic shit, really. The other thing I was going to say, and I kind of lost my train of thought on this, was this movie No, I forget. So I guess we'll go.
Mhm.
We'll go on. It was just, I think it was kind of ahead of its time. I mean, to think this was in the 70s, early 70s. It was just an astounding film. I guess let's wrap it up, I guess, and talk about just the overall thoughts of the movie, the performances. Is this something? How do you see it against some of the other movies you've seen in the like this dystopian type of genre? I mean, it built the world pretty well. Yeah, and I don't think it's been equal. There's been nothing like this, really.
I was gonna say, man, I don't know if I could compare it to anything else.
Yeah.
Because it's just so unique, man. Like I don't think this could.
Well, you mentioned the Warriors.
It's so unique, man, and it's just like Malcolm McDowell was just. This is what gave him his career, and rightly so, because I don't think anyone else could really pull this role off, man. This like he just does so damn well, and he's one of those where like he's like good at being an asshole, but you still are just so intrigued with him, you know, like even like he's done a lot of roles where he's like the fucking kind of mean, like
I
asshole, like that you kind of shouldn't like, but he's just so good that you're like,
well, he's played his career. Yeah, his career has been mostly playing villains. I mean, I can't think of too many movies where he was the good guy in them. I really can't.
I guess Dr. Loomis.
No,
there's been a couple, but he's mostly
Time After Time. If you haven't seen that, check that out. He played H.G. Wells. That goes back in time to chase Jack the Ripper. It's a great movie.
Really?
Malcolm McDowell. I think
Time After Time.
It's on my Plex for the time.
Check that one out.
Time After Time. It was directed by the guy who did Star Trek 2. It's a really good film. Really good film. But he's good in almost anything he's in. Malcolm McDowell. I can't think of a bad role.
That's for sure. He's in that.
He's in Heroes.
Remake of Silent. Like it's not really. It's a loose remake of Silent Night, Deadly Night. But he's in Silent Night, which that's a really good Christmas horror film.
Yeah.
All right, let me check that
out. So other than that, I guess we'll go for ratings and just wrap it up and your thoughts overall on the movie. Anything else you have to say? Without a doubt, I'm going to give this movie a 5 phasers. I think it stands up there. There's nothing else like it. The performances are just fantastic. Cinematography, the music is great. It's all upper level stuff. I mean, I don't know too many, Kubrick movies I probably wouldn't give a 5 to, but this one I definitely think it's up there. It's a little long.
Super iconic.
It's about it's an hour and it's an hour and 30 minutes. I think 36 minutes. So it's 2 hours and 16 minutes. So it's a little long, but it doesn't feel long.
Right.
From the opening scene where you get that pullback on his face, and then you see everything as you go, and it's got you so intrigued about what the hell is going on in this movie that you just stick with it. One thing I was going to say, now that I do remember, Dylan told me it's something he's done for a long time. I never have done it, but this movie almost requires it. And I think if you do it, you'll enjoy it a heck of a lot better. Turn on the subtitles.
Yeah,
because it's all the stuff they're saying, especially that unique timey-wimey type stuff, very tough. And I caught a lot of stuff on this rewatch because I had the subtitles on that I don't think I would have gotten it without them off. So this is definitely a movie.
The old one in, one out. I think that's because I kept reading it. I was like, that's so kind of. I mean, that's not. It's kind of catchy. I was just the old one in, one out.
Yeah, the old in out.
Oh yeah,
But definitely worthwhile to see it on to watch with the subtitles at least once. So I'm gonna give it 5 phasers. I think it's a fantastic movie. I'd watch it again. It's definitely one I'll revisit from time to time, especially if I'm having a Kubrick. It wouldn't be a Kubrick movie. I would show somebody trying to get them into Kubrick. I wouldn't show them this first. I'd probably show them this last. I'd probably put it maybe right before Eyes Wide Shut. Even though I think it's a great movie, it depends on the person, I guess.
Yeah.
But it definitely it's definitely one of my favorite movies, especially a Kubrick movie. So Steph, your rating and overall.
I'm gonna go along with you. I'm gonna give this a 5 phasers. I think, like you said, we've been saying earlier, you guys have been saying earlier that this is a lot of people have borrowed from this movie, and there's still nothing like it. It's still, even for 1971, I'd for it to be so hard-hitting and visceral now in 2022, 23.
It was banned in United Kingdom for like.
I was gonna say, I can only imagine how people.
Yeah, it was banned. They tried to give it an X, and then they banned it for a long time.
It was banned for a long time, bro.
And then
understandably, it's a very strong film, but I think it's a very poignant examination of how, like I said earlier,
it wasn't a video nasty. It was just banned. Even if video nasties were shown, they were just listed as video nasties. This was just banned. So
when did they get to see this? When did it finally get around this?
I like 10, 12 years later, maybe, I think.
Wow.
In the 80s.
Wow.
Of course, they once it showed up in the States, it was on video in the 80s. Yeah. So probably that's what it really got. I remember HBO showed this movie a lot back in the day. But go ahead. I'm sorry, Steph.
Oh no. It's very poignant examination of humankind's capacity for evil and violence. Like, they, even in the movie, they were trying to reform people, but for the wrong reasons, obviously, and they weren't doing it the right ways. They were trying to force people. They weren't trying to go through therapy or try to work through it. They were trying to just force it immediately, and you can't do that. And it's a very, very, very strong film. Still to this day, very powerful. I will be watching this again. It won't be an annual watch just because of that. What Perry said was true. It leaves you this icky, scary. It makes you feel ill watching this.
It's uncomfortable, but I think
uncomfortable.
It's meant to be uncomfortable.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But I don't like to be uncomfortable all the time. So I will watch this once in a while. Maybe not annually, but I would definitely be checking this out from time to time. I'm mad that I hadn't watched it since I was 19. Like, it deserves
not
more
Christmas
watches.
Movie, I don't think, but.
But yes,
five
phasers. Yeah.
All right, cool.
This is an iconic film.
Hell yeah! I guess the milk is supposed to be showing that it's like natural and because I guess they're kind of trying to show Alex as like a caveman, especially like when he's doing the big scene singing in the rain and doing that shit to the chick. That basically just takes what he wants when he wants, and that
true shit.
There's like a lot of symbolism of animals and stuff in that lady's house.
Yeah.
And then when he's holding that big,
penis ass.
Yeah, while he's like chasing her around and shit.
Yeah. Just that he was the only one with the giant nose.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. But yeah, man. Dude, I think this movie's incredible. It's not one I watch all the time, without a doubt, but I've seen this movie at least 10 times, if not more.
Nice.
I've seen it I watch it every like few years, I feel like. Right. Just enough where it's like it's not super fresh in my mind, but where it's like, where I watched it last night, I always, forget things, you know what I mean? There's so many movies I watch where it's like I cannot remember everything. But
and this movie's deep, so there's a lot going on.
Dude, it's so deep, and it's like you pick up something new every time.
Absolutely.
It is just, there's nothing like it, man. It is so unique. Kubrick was just one of a kind, man. And his movies were just insane, man. And there's been nothing like it since, man. That guy was just insane, man. Like, he was crazy as hell, but he had a fucking unique eye, man. And he knew how to shoot film. And he did it in such an artistic way. I feel like he really brought artistry to film. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a 5 phasers all day, man. There's nothing you could say really bad about it, dude. It's just, it's your preference on can you take it or not. You know what I mean? Because obviously there's some vivid shit going on, but that shit ain't phasing.
Yeah, no doubt that he didn't. He for his directing choices, he didn't take the easy way out. I mean, every single one of his movies, from 2001 was basically brought science fiction into the mainstream and said
that's what I'm so excited.
It was okay. Yeah. It was okay to have a science fiction movie. I think without 2001, you don't get Star Wars. You don't get any of those bigger movies.
And did he take him out of the camp genre? Because sci-fi was kind of cheesy camp in the 50s. He made it like
it was
serious.
really there was some serious science fiction movies in the 50s, but this 2001 was the first one to really try to make a heady, really important film, a science fiction film, a big film. And its success really, validated the whole genre, really.
And he would have no Interstellars or any shit like that.
And then after that, he takes on this movie, Clockwork Orange, and he takes on The Shining, and as you said, Eyes Wide Shut. His early movies, Paths of Glory, which was a World War II movie.
Full Metal Jacket, bro.
Full Metal Jacket, bro.
Dude, he gave Vincent D'Onofrio, however you say, he gave him his start. And literally, I was watching an interview just a few weeks ago, and Vincent says, he's like, I don't have a career. All those movies I've done since, he's like, that's because of Kubrick. He's like, because he said normally I would have never done something like that, and he had to put on a lot of weight to get that role.
Short amount of time, bro.
Yeah, in a very short amount of time, because he wasn't like that big. He wasn't that big like that, like chunky,
Right.
He was a lot more fit back then, and did the shaved head. He's like, he wasn't a fan of guns or anything, so it was like very out of character as him being like a regular person in real life, But he ran with that role, man, and he made that movie what it is. Him and what is his name? The sergeant.
Oh yeah,
the eyebrows.
Yeah, Gunny, not Gunny.
Gunner.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
The R.I.P. I got it right here.
Yeah, and he gave him his
R. Lee Ermey.
Yeah, R. Lee Ermey. Yeah.
Texas Chainsaw dude, or the remake.
Sir. He's so good.
Yeah. So, I mean, Kubrick definitely is a master. When we talk about masters, he's definitely one of the masters. So 5 all day from all of us makes it to 5. And this is one of those movies where you could throw up the 69 because God knows there was enough of it going on in the movie. But I'm not even gonna talk about 70s Bush or any of that type of stuff.
I was gonna say, we didn't even mention the Bush, bro. 70s Bush.
It would be inappropriate in this film to mention the 70s Bush.
Well,
so I did not mention it, even though it was the first one and it came on my show. So, definitely a great movie. I'm glad you guys were able to jump in and take a look at this. If you guys haven't seen it, all you guys in the chat, if you haven't seen this movie, it's on HBO Max, it's on Netflix. Go watch it, man, because it's a cool one. Stay with it. Definitely it's tough in spots. Turn on the subtitles, and I think get your girl Perry. You can do
even
it
if
again.
You can't fuck with the story. Just go back to see how iconic this movie was and how many filmmakers have borrowed from this since it's been made. Like it's crazy. You're like, oh shit, that's where they got that from.
Yeah.
Yeah, you see a lot of this movie and a lot of other things.
Yeah.
So.
Oh yeah. Every time I watch it, I'll be like, that's where they got that from, or something. Right. You know what I mean? You pick up so much, man. Because the movies are always trying to take from it, man.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and he always did his own thing. That's like where Kubrick didn't try to be Hitchcock or might have taken influence certain ways, but you could tell he was always doing his own thing.
Influence, but yeah, dude, he was so unique, man.
Yeah,
he was very rare, man. Nothing like him, man. He was a hard director to work with. I heard from a lot of behind the scenes, but he got it done, man. He knew what he wanted, man. He had a vision and he saw it through, man. And to put that, see a vision in your head and to put that shit on the screen. Or put it on paper and then screen, dude. He was something else. That's for sure. It'd have been cool to see Fable get in here, man. And I know he would have a few words to say. I know he loves Kubrick.
I know. In the chat, hop on screen, man.
I don't know if he watched it. Maybe he did.
Yeah.
All right. Well, hey, ends are talking about this movie, Clockwork Orange, great film. So now we're gonna jump into what's happening next. Well, it's almost Christmas time, and because of that. Stay tuned. In about 20 minutes or so, Robbie on Pop Culture Philosophers will be doing the iconic Batman Returns as part of his Christmas watch.
Heck yeah. And
with Christopher Walken, Batman, and a few other villains. I think Dave DeVito was in that movie. And,
a
few other people. One of the One of the best. I think it really is the best. The Michael Keaton's would be Batman's Returns.
I love.
Oh yeah, hell yeah.
And that's another film that helped usher in the PG-13 because it's a little rough for the kiddies.
One man.
My downside to some of the Michael Keaton stuff is, and not so much. Let's take that back. Not Michael Keaton, but Joel Schumacher's Batman and Tim Burton's Batman. Is they try to put in too many villains, I think, in the movies, and unfortunately,
that's mostly what I feel like people end up saying.
It upstaged Batman. I want to watch Batman movie, not Penguin movie. All Penguin's great.
Yeah.
But otherwise, there's still iconic films. There's still great films, and
I feel like because it's Tim Burton too, because he's more of that. But the way he put Batman, man, like it was great. He just needed to go further with it.
Right, but he did. Yeah, he was the first guy to make us at least an attempt at a serious Batman. And I don't think we would have gotten anything else after that if it wasn't a successful movie. So
just Gotham, man, is gorgeous.
Fucking time. I love his Gotham, bro. That's like I think
I sent that. If you guys haven't watched it, I sent that link on in Instagram. That fan film I thought was pretty darn good. Have you ever watched it, The Oath on YouTube?
No, I didn't see that.
It takes place during the Keaton era, and the guy did a really good job with it. It's a pretty good fan film. So Batman Returns over on Robbie's channel in about 20 minutes, and then next Saturday we're gonna continue with Christmas when we review what?
That's a Christmas film?
No, Dylan's horror film.
Okay, yeah. Saturday night, night 3,
I give you that big setup and you fucked it up.
No, I thought he was talking about next week's Sojourns.
Dylan's horror show. We're doing Silent Night, Deadly Night 2, 3, 4, and 5, isn't it?
No,
3, 4, 5.
Yeah, because Restaurant got that Blu-ray release coming.
That's right.
Last year I did.
I hope I get it before it comes out.
Check out that review.
Yeah, so Dylan's Horror Show for another Christmas movie, and then next Monday,
I'm sure we're gonna be smashing on it.
Next Monday, another dystopian movie for me.
Also Christmas.
Not Christmas. It's
I never saw it, so I didn't know.
Children of Men with Clive Owen from 1990.
2006.
2006. There you go.
Yeah.
And that was a great movie, and one I haven't watched in a while. And I think Dylan hasn't seen it all. So next week we'll be talking more dystopian and watching Little Children of Men. That's a great flick. And then finally, we're going to end up the month of December with another great Stanley Kubrick movie, 2001: A Space Odyssey.
Which Fable's asking if we did that one yet.
Which we're going to dive into.
Better be hopping on that.
I think Robbie is coming into that one for 2001. And it should be the rest of the crew here. So it's going to be a great dive, a deep dive into 2001, A Space Odyssey, great flick.
When we do the year of bangers.
Do it after Children Men, the last show of December before we hit the new year. And then we got some great stuff coming out for you in the new year. Some movies that they're already picked. We'll reveal them probably next week's show or maybe the week after. Just in case something goes wrong, we don't watch them out. Yeah. But so that winds up this show. You guys got about 15 minutes to get over to Robbie's show and watch the Batman Return. Any of you guys on that panel?
No.
How we doing?
Steph,
I'm going to be there.
Steph. You'll be on that panel tonight.
I'll probably be watching Returns in the background though while I watch the review.
What are you watching in the background?
I like that.
Batman Returns.
Batman Returns. Oh,
that's what they're reviewing. Well, I think that because I got to be up early for work. First day back, man, after all the BS.
Yeah.
So
there you go.
Yeah.
You got to enjoy that first day back at work. Holiday season.
I'm just aching for it.
And, you gotta get there.
Then I get a vacation where I could enjoy it and not be dying sick the entire time and pain.
You gotta get there the first day and slipping up and then I'll be,
Yeah.
Who left that banana peel there?
I think I gotta go back on leave.
I slipped on my own banana peel.
Who left that there?
This time y'all gonna pay me for this. It was on property.
Happened outright.
It was on property.
All right, well, thank everybody for coming into the show tonight and watching it. It's been a great time reviewing this movie, and we'll catch you guys next week for Children of Men, and this weekend for the Dylan Horror Show. We're looking at 3
Silent Night, Deadly
Night movies. Hatchets and Santa. How can you go wrong?
Check it out. They're all on Shudder.
They're all on Shudder?
They're all on Shudder.
None of these are on the cock?
I don't know.
I'm surprised.
I'm getting bummed. Not too. Although
the cock didn't come through this.
The cock. Sometimes the cock doesn't come through. It just goes.
Vestron's got a triple pack Blu-ray coming out this tomorrow. It comes out. So
yeah, it's like $12 for the 3 movies. I hope that's not.
Yeah, it's like
indicative of the quality
for 3 movies. But it comes with a digital code too. So
hopefully that's not indicative of the quality of the movies either. So we'll see.
Well, Vestron keeps it pretty cheap usually. They're a good boutique brand.
All right. We'll see you guys next week.
Peace out.
Later, everybody.
Peace out.